There is one particular color that Kabbalistic masters have been warning families about for hundreds of years. And before your mind jumps to something heavy or obvious, let me stop you right there. I am not talking about black. I am not talking about anything dramatic. I am talking about a color that has been sold to you as elegant, as upscale, as the hallmark of refined modern taste. It is sitting in millions of living rooms as we speak, painted onto walls, stitched into sofas, laid across floors. And the entire time, quietly and invisibly, it has been blocking the very blessings trying to reach the families living inside those homes. Before I tell you exactly which color it is, I want to walk you through 7 extraordinary colors that Jewish mystical teaching has long recognized as spiritual magnets. Magnets that pull in abundance, strengthen the bonds inside a family, and carry protection right through your front door. These are not interior design trends from a magazine. These are energetic signatures preserved inside Kabbalah for over 2,000 years. And once you understand them, the place where you live stops being just walls and furniture. It becomes something alive, something sacred. Here is what the ancient teachers grasped long before anyone had instruments to measure it, and what modern science is only now beginning to quietly confirm. Color is frequency. Every shade surrounding you, whether you notice it or not, is transmitting a specific vibration into the air around you. Your paint, your curtains, your rugs, the art you hung 3 years ago and stopped really seeing. None of it is neutral. All of it is speaking constantly to your subconscious, to your emotional state, and according to the oldest mystical teachings, to the spiritual realm itself. So when you think you are simply picking a color because it felt nice in the store, what you may actually be doing is inviting specific energies into your most private space. Sometimes those energies are exactly what you want. But sometimes, and this is the part that stings, they are the very forces that have been quietly standing in the way of everything you have been trying to build. The Zohar, one of the foundational texts of Jewish mysticism, teaches that every color corresponds to a specific sephira, a particular attribute of the divine. When we bring the wrong frequency into our most intimate space, we disrupt the flow of Shefa, the divine abundance constantly trying to pour itself down into our lives. So right now, before we go further, do something with me. Type into the comments these exact words. My home is a magnet for miracles, and if you can, say it out loud as you type it. In Kabbalistic tradition, words carry creative weight. They do not merely describe reality, they shape it. When you speak a clear intention, especially together with others, you activate what the sages called kavana, focused spiritual attention. Kavana opens the channels through which blessings actually travel. And while you are watching, let your eyes drift around the room you are sitting in. Take a quiet inventory of the colors surrounding you. By the end of our time together, you will know with clarity which ones are serving your higher path, and which one might be silently pulling against every good thing you are trying to create. Let us begin with the first sacred color, white. In Jewish tradition, white represents tahara, which means purity and a return to original wholeness. It is not a random choice that on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, the tradition is to wear white. That garment symbolizes spiritual renewal, the shedding of everything that does not belong. But white is not only ceremonial. Energetically, white contains every possibility that has not yet been expressed. It is the blank page upon which the divine can still write something new into your story. The Kabbalists connect white with Keter, the crown, the highest sephira, representing limitless potential and the direct thread connecting a soul to the Ein Sof, the infinite source. When you bring white into your home, especially near your entryway or close to your mezuzah, you are creating an atmosphere of openness, a space that says to the universe, I am ready to receive. I once worked with a woman I will call Sarah. She felt absolutely frozen in life. Her career had stagnated. Her relationships felt distant. Every door seemed to stick. When I visited her home, I understood why. It was filled with heavy dark wood, dim corners, colors pressing down on the space. We painted her living room a bright, almost luminous white. Within 3 weeks, she called me. She had been offered a position she had never applied for, and a childhood friend she had lost touch with reappeared and eventually became a business partner. White makes room. It is a spiritual reset. It clears the stagnant air of what used to be and extends an open hand toward what wants to arrive. Tonight, as you bring any element of white into your space, speak this aloud. I release every past limitation from this space. I open my home and my life to endless blessings, clarity, and abundance from the source of all life. I am a clean vessel and I am ready for miracles. The second color carries immense spiritual weight. Blue, and not just any blue, a very particular shade known in Hebrew as tesheleh. For thousands of years, this sacred blue dye, referenced more than 40 times in the Torah, was woven into the tzitzit, the fringes of the prayer shawl. There is a passage in the Talmud that has always stopped me. It teaches that Tekele resembles the sea, and the sea resembles the sky, and the sky resembles the throne of glory. This single shade creates a visual ladder connecting our ordinary world to the highest realms of the divine. Blue is the color of emuna, faith, and bitachon, deep trust. When your life feels like a storm, when anxiety has taken over your thinking, when you cannot hear the quiet voice of your own wisdom because the world has grown too loud, blue becomes your shelter. Modern neuroscience has actually caught up to what the sages understood. Studies show that blue environments calm the nervous system, reduce cortisol, and enhance creative thinking. When you bring blue into your bedroom or your study, you are building what the Kabbalists would call a vessel for binah, understanding, and chochmah, wisdom. I once worked with a family whose home had become a battlefield. Parents and teenagers were barely speaking. Nobody felt heard. We took one corner of their living room and painted it a soft, gentle blue. We placed 2 chairs there facing each other and agreed that this would be the space for difficult conversations. Within a month, the father told me it was as though a switch had been flipped. People were listening again, voices had softened. If your home has been filled with emotional turbulence, blue is the anchor you have been missing. The third color resonates deeply with the Jewish story: gold. In the ancient temple in Jerusalem, gold was everywhere. The menorah was pure gold. The Ark of the Covenant was overlaid in gold. The altar was wrapped in gold. Because gold is the highest earthly reflection of divine light. It does not rust, it does not fade. It is eternal, just like the soul. In Kabbalistic teaching, gold corresponds to Tiferet, harmony and beauty, and carries the frequency of chesed, expansive kindness and abundance. Gold vibrates at the exact pitch of prosperity, not just material prosperity, prosperity of spirit, confidence, inner radiance, the recognition of your own enormous value in the eyes of the Creator. Here is something I only share with my closer students. The kitchen is the financial heart of a home. In Jewish tradition, the table is compared directly to the altar that once stood in the temple. When you eat with intention and gratitude, you turn an ordinary meal into a sacred act. To activate prosperity in your kitchen, place one deliberate gold object there: a small golden bowl, a decorative tray, even a single golden spoon. As you set it down, speak these words: just as gold reflects light, my home reflects abundance. Just as gold endures, my blessings multiply and endure. You are not decorating, you are calibrating. You are aligning your receiver to catch what is already being transmitted. The fourth color is vibrant, alive, and absolutely essential if you have been feeling stuck or like the fire inside you has been going out. Red. I know what some of you are thinking. Red is aggressive, red is too loud, but let me share what the Kabbalists understood that the modern eye misses. Red, in its highest form, is the color of gevura, strength and sacred boundaries. And it is the color of life itself. The Hebrew word for red is Adam, which shares its root with Adam, the first human being, and Adamah, earth. We were formed from red earth. Blood, carrying life through our bodies, is red. Red is life force. It is passion, courage, the holy fire that drives us to build, to love, to protect what matters. If your marriage has gone quiet, if you and your partner function more like 2 managers than 2 souls in love, red is a wake-up call. You do not have to paint an entire room red. A single piece of red art, a pair of red pillows, 2 red candles on your Shabbat table. These subtle touches are enough to send a surge of momentum through your home. I once worked with a couple who had been married 17 years and told me they felt nothing between them anymore. We introduced 1 bold piece of red art into their bedroom and 2 red candles they lit every Friday evening with a shared intention. Within 2 months, they renewed their vows. The red had not manufactured something from nothing. It had awakened what had only fallen asleep. The 5th color is softer, but do not underestimate it. Green. In Jewish thought, green is the color of chayim, life, and of renewal. After the flood, Noah sent out a dove, and it returned carrying a green olive branch. The first sign life was beginning again. Green represents chiddush, newness, and carries the energy of growth that refuses to stop. The Kabbalists associate green with Netzach, eternity and victory, the energy that persists against every obstacle. That is why bringing living green plants into your home is not merely about decoration. Energetically, a thriving green plant is a breathing symbol of transformation right there in your room. It is absorbing carbon dioxide and producing life. That process, happening silently in your space all day, is a constant message to your subconscious. Growth is always possible. I worked with a woman who had been trying for nearly 4 years to launch a business. Every attempt collapsed. She felt cursed. We brought 3 healthy green plants into her home office, and I taught her to water them, saying, "As this plant grows, my business grows." Within 6 weeks, she received a grant she had forgotten she applied for, and her first major client walked through the door. I stopped using the word coincidence a long time ago. What I believe in now is alignment. The 6th color carries deep ancient power. Purple. In the days of the temple, the rarest and most costly dye in the ancient world was argaman, the royal purple woven into the curtains of the Mishkan. Purple was reserved for royalty, for the priesthood, for the sacred, because purple sits precisely at the intersection of red, the earthly life force, and blue, the heavenly divine connection. Purple is the marriage of heaven and earth. In Kabbalah, purple resonates with Malchut, kingship, the Sephira representing the divine presence dwelling within the material world. Purple sharpens intuition. It heightens spiritual sensitivity. If you pray, if you meditate, purple placed in your sacred space amplifies that signal. A client named Leah kept having disturbing dreams and felt spiritually exposed. We introduced a deep purple blanket and a purple candle she lit before sleep with this prayer: "Hashem, wrap me in your royal protection as I rest." Her sleep changed completely. In place of the disturbing dreams, she began receiving vivid, guiding dreams that helped her navigate major decisions. Purple opened something that had been closed. The 7th color, and perhaps the most universally powerful, is the warm, glowing family of ambers and yellows, the color of candlelight, the color of flame. In Hebrew, the word for light is or, and light is the very first thing the Creator brought into being. In the beginning there was the command, "Let there be light." And that happened before the sun was even created. What was created on day 1 was a primordial spiritual light, and the Kabbalists teach that this hidden light still exists, still reachable through mitzvot, through Shabbat, through the use of warm, luminous color in the home. Yellow and amber represent simcha, joy. They awaken the mind. They create a sense of welcome people feel the moment they cross your threshold. These colors whisper without words, "You are safe here. There is joy in this place." I have worked with families whose homes felt cold, even to the people who lived there. We introduced warm golden tones, and within months, Friday night dinners had grown from 3 people to 10. The home had come back to life. Here is a practical truth rooted deeply in Jewish wisdom. Never allow your home to fall into complete darkness at night. Keep one small warm light burning somewhere. A home should always carry a small flame, a small signal that announces the divine presence is welcome within these walls. Light is protection. Light is the first and most foundational blessing. If you are still with me, type into the comments, "I choose light and blessings for my home." That statement is not decoration. You are actively participating in a shift in your reality. So we have walked through 7 sacred colors: white for purity, blue for wisdom, gold for prosperity, red for passion, green for growth, purple for spiritual connection, and warm amber and yellow for joy. Each one, used with intention, transforms your home into a mikdash me'at, a small sanctuary. But here is what I need you to understand, and this is the most critical part of everything I have shared. There is one color that stands in direct opposition to everything we just discussed. Where white opens infinite possibility, this color creates restriction. Where gold attracts prosperity, this color subtly pushes it away. Where red ignites passion, this color slowly smothers your fire. Where blue brings peace, this color breeds a low-grade anxiety that never quite goes away. Where green promotes growth, this color feeds stagnation. Where purple connects you to the spiritual, this color severs that channel. And where warm amber fills your home with joy, this color isolates you and drains the light from every corner of your life. This color has been sold to you relentlessly as sophisticated, as modern, as timeless. You have been told it is neutral, that it is calming, that it is the safest choice. But energetically, it is the exact opposite. It is a quiet thief. It steals your joy, your momentum, and your blessings so gradually that you never notice until one day you look up and realize you have been stuck for years and cannot figure out why nothing works. The color ancient Kabbalah has long warned against is dark gray. Before you panic, stay with me. I am going to give you the antidote. But first you need to understand why. In Kabbalistic thought, colors exist along a spectrum from pure light to pure shadow. Pure light is the divine. Pure shadow is associated with the Sitra Akra, the realm of spiritual disconnection. Dark gray occupies a problematic place on that spectrum. It is not black. Black is absolute, and in certain mystical contexts, black can represent depth or the fertile void before creation. Dark gray is something more insidious. It is the color of half-life, the color of fog, of being neither here nor there, of uncertainty and spiritual ambiguity. In Jewish mourning tradition, the color most associated with grief is not black, as in many Western cultures, but a muted, ashen gray. It is the color of ashes, the color of the temple in ruins, the color of Kariah, the torn garment of mourning. Gray represents loss. Occasional grief is sacred and necessary. But you are not meant to live inside that energy day after day. You are not meant to raise your children and recharge your soul in a space constantly vibrating at the frequency of mourning. Yet that is precisely what dark gray does over time. It mutes your spirit. It dampens your creative thinking. It ushers in feelings of melancholy and a persistent heaviness you may never consciously connect to your environment because it unfolds so slowly. Contemporary design is in love with dark gray. Magazines call it chic. Influencers call it timeless. But after working with hundreds of families, I have noticed something consistent. The homes most dominated by dark gray tend to be the homes where people report the most financial strain, the most emotional coldness, and the most persistent sense of being stuck. Your environment is not separate from you. When your walls and furniture are broadcasting the frequency of shadow, that is the signal your subconscious absorbs all day. And that is the signal you then broadcast back into the world. Would you expect the temple in Jerusalem to have been decorated in muted grays? Of course not. It was gold, white, sapphire blue, royal purple, alive with color. The Talmud teaches that after the destruction of the temple, our homes became our small temples. If you fill your temple with the color of ashes, you signal to the universe that you are in a state of loss, and the universe reflects back exactly what you put out. Science is beginning to confirm this. Studies in color psychology consistently show that people in environments dominated by dark gray report lower mood, decreased motivation, and a persistent sense of heaviness. Dark gray literally dulls mental sharpness. You are trying to build a life while swimming against a current of heaviness you cannot see. Here is the remedy. If you have dark gray in your home and cannot replace it immediately, counteract its energy by introducing strong bursts of the sacred colors we discussed. Hang vibrant artwork on those gray walls. Not gray art, bright, joyful art. Bring in pillows and blankets in gold, red, blue, green. Fill the space with healthy green plants. Add warm amber lamps. Never let a gray room sit in dim lighting. Light neutralizes shadow. And here is the most powerful ritual. Stand in the center of any gray space and speak these words aloud. I acknowledge that this color does not serve my highest good. I now call in the light, the color, and the blessings of the divine. I transform this space from shadow to radiance, from stagnation to flow, from lack to abundance. This home is alive. This home is blessed. So be it. Then take one concrete action within 72 hours. Buy one colorful piece of art. Bring home one green plant. Light a candle every evening for a week. Action breaks the pattern. Intention plus action equals transformation. If you are repainting soon, now you know. Choose life. Choose light. Soft creams. Warm sandy tones. Gentle sage greens. Calm ocean blues. All serene, but vibrant enough to support life. Dark gray may look striking in a corporate lobby, a place built for transactions and emotional distance, but your home is not a lobby. Your home is your sanctuary, your mikdash me'at. Treat it that way. I want to close with this truth. Everything in creation carries energy. The ancient Kabbalists were not superstitious. They were scientists of the soul. They understood that every element of the physical world, including color, is a vehicle for spiritual reality. When you choose the colors of your home with awareness, with kavanah, you step into your true role as a co-creator with the divine. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You become an active participant in your own blessing. So right now, type into the comments, "My home is a living sanctuary of blessings." Say it out loud and mean it. Then look around your space with new eyes. What is one change you can make today? Maybe it is buying a small plant. Maybe hanging something colorful on a wall that has sat empty too long. Maybe lighting a single candle every evening with intention. Maybe finally admitting you never truly loved that dark gray couch and it is time to let it go. Whatever it is, take the action. Because knowledge without action is just information. Knowledge combined with action is transformation. If this teaching reached something inside you, hit the like button. It tells me the message landed and helps this wisdom travel to the next person who needs it. Subscribe so you never miss a teaching. I release new insights from Jewish mystical tradition every week. Ancient wisdom for prosperity, protection, relationships, and health, rooted in Torah and Kabbalah, translated into practical tools for modern life. Share this video with anyone whose home feels heavy, whose path feels blocked, who has been searching for a breakthrough without realizing their environment might be the missing key. Next week, I am going to reveal the one specific object that 93% of Jewish homes have placed in the wrong location, and it is quietly costing them blessings every single day. You are absolutely going to want to see that one. Until then, may your home overflow with light, with color, with joy, and with every blessing the Creator has already prepared with your name written on it. Shalom, and I will see you very soon.